Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Gate Crashers on a very special Tuesday night edition, live here at 8 p.m., live on Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube. I am Vinny, this is Kim, and Angela is going to be joining us momentarily. And I do have a big announcement. As a matter of fact, there's Angela now. So,
sorry, guys.
What's going on? No big deal. Kim, how was your week?
Oh, pretty good. Celebrated my birthday, got to hang out with my family, and yeah, also just get treated to some pretty interesting May sweeps for Beyond the Gates. So excited to dive in
Yes.
and start talking about it.
Oh, absolutely. And Angela, how are you? All right. Um, we are live. We're here to talk all about Beyond the Gates from Fairmont Crest. And this is, like I said, this is a very special Tuesday edition, just because last night was crazy and there's scheduling conflicts all over the place. Anyways, the chat is open. Come on in. The water is fine. I do want to mention, I mentioned it last night on Suds News, and if you do subscribe to the RSS feeds, going forward, all of these shows, all of the podcasts for Suds Media, Suds and Squared Circle Media, are going to go on the RSS feed of Suds News only. Reason being is that because of the limitations of Podpage, which powers our website, suds-media.com, Podpage only allows one podcast to automatically post to your social platform. So when I upload the Suds News podcast, it'll go to Podpage, and then Podpage pushes out the announcement to Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn and whatever. However, for Gatecrashers and Dockside at the Bay and Angela Answers Fan Mail and Take Me Down to Studio City and anything else, if they have their own RSS feed for their own pod page, it doesn't go to the same social platform. So instead, going forward, everything is going to be going on the Suds News social platform, RSS feed. So you'll get to listen to anything. And you know what? It's worked because you get, better listens on the more established RSS feed. So that's where that goes. But anyways, Angela, how's everything going? I know we just talked last night on Suds News, but how was your day today?
It was good. I was doing a lot of writing for Parade, and I have got a few articles up. Need to get a few more up tonight after this. And I'm sorry I was late. I was in the shower, and my daughter called me, which is always really weird because I answer, and then she gets annoyed. But I don't answer. She also gets annoyed. There's no winning. I just tell her to be happy and set a video call. What?
I get that totally. But so I do want to go into our big announcement early, and because I'm excited about it. I did post it on X earlier today that the Suds Awards are coming back. Hey, Chad, welcome to the chat. Hope all is well on your night off from the NHL playoffs. Anyways, the Suds Awards are coming back. And I know I'm a little late getting things together, but you know what? Here we go. What we're going to do this year for the Suds Awards, mark your calendars, because for the first time ever, we are going to have a premium live event on Friday night, May 30th at 8 p.m., which is where we're going to announce the nominees for the Suds Awards this year. So that's Friday, May 30th at 8 p.m., premium live event, the Suds Awards nomination special. And then after we announce the nominees, we'll play the videos. You'll get to see all the nominees and everything. We'll talk about it. And then we'll, for the entire month of June, from June 1st to June 30th, you'll be able to go to the Google form like you did last year and vote on the Suds Awards. It's going to combine wrestling and soap operas again. And we're going to, have the categories out. You vote like you did last year. And then on Friday, mark your calendars again. Friday, August 1st, will be the next premium live event for the Suds Awards. Live, right here on all these same platforms that you're watching now. And that's going to be Friday night, August 1st at 8 p.m. So get your voting together. Just get ready for that and pay attention. The eligibility period for wrestling is going to be Raw after WrestleMania 40 until WrestleMania 41. And for soaps means that it's going to be Monday, April 7th, 2024 until Friday, April 18th, 2025. That's the eligibility period. So we will keep everybody abreast as we go. So just keep those two dates in mind, Friday, May 30th, and then Friday, August 1st. Anyways, all right, folks, let's get down to it because we've had an abbreviated week of shows of Beyond the Gates because of soccer. There was no Beyond the Gates today because of soccer, and none tomorrow. But Fairmont Crest is full of drama either way, and we might as well stop with the biggest bombshell, which we all really knew. We just didn't know when the secret was going to come out. But Leslie coming and crashing the party, and just making chaos for everybody.
Yep. I mean, just the way that the entire, like, obviously you had, like, the big lead up to it, them talking about the party and, everyone in town gathered, everyone looking gorgeous, it's just so classic, stereotypical, traditional soap, having it just be like this big sort of epic sort of telling off the world speech, big dramatic revelations happening in a big room full of pretty people. It was, even, I don't know, the whole thing kind of reminded me a little bit. I was getting like all my children's flashbacks when like Erica gives her, big speech, telling off the entire town, when she's accepting an award. It's just, it felt so very traditional, fun soap watching it, which just, and then the aftermath of it too was just so well acted, so well done. Just across the board, just really, I mean, for me, sweeps for their first one, they're really kicking it off, in style. And I was just really, really impressed.
And it's a secret that doesn't, it's a secret that the story's not over with the secret revealed. Now, a lot more comes after, it opens up so much more story afterwards, which is beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because, you have this whole, conceit with, if you've got, Leslie coming in and just being all, to the family saying, like, you need to accept her. And I'm thinking the whole time as she's saying this, it's like, technically, though, it's like Ted married into the Dupree family.
Right.
Like, you're making it seem like, it's like, hey, is that Nicole's child? That's like because the way that you're like just talking about, Ted and that, it just, so there's going to be more. There's going to be more to unpack there for sure. You can just tell because, her just saying like, well, she's my prize. She's my, it's like, okay, there's clearly something else going on here because, yeah, Ted's just the guy that cheated in the eyes of the Duprees at the moment, and you're like pinning all your hopes on, oh, you'll love his daughter. It's like, so there's connection there for sure, and just knowing that thread could potentially be, folded out later.
What more could come out from this story? Are we going to see that Eva and Kat are twins? I mean, do you think that the birth certificate that Leslie showed to, Anita and everybody was doctored to show a different date?
What kind of clinched it for me that there's more with Eva's parentage than meets the eye is the fact that Leslie was so content to lock her out of the house after she had just gone on that massive rant saying how much she loved her and how she just wanted to welcome her baby back into her arms. I'm sorry. It's like, if that's your actual kid, you're going to leave her locked out of your apartment?
There's a lot of speculation about them being twins, but I actually had another idea.
Ooh,
Go on.
yeah.
What if she switched Ava and Kat? What if
I
Kat
was
was her daughter with Ted,
Oh,
and she switched so that her daughter would have the privileged upbringing? And that would explain why she was so easy. It was so easy to her to just turn her back on Ava.
yeah. You
I
know,
had that question too. And even if you look at semantics, just looking at if you look at Leslie and you look at Kat, they have a very similar body type. They're they're tall and slender and stuff. And you look at Nicole and you look at Eva, they're a little thicker.
yeah.
They're a little more filled out. Round, um,
Hell, even
that's a
I see
possibility.
there's a definite resemblance, Nicole and Eva. You can see it. Something about the eyes, features. There's I see that resemblance there too, and it could just
The
be,
other thought,
but there could
I
be,
mean,
something at
yeah,
play there.
the twin thing could be really great, but I think that other one would just be, I mean,
Yeah.
because then
No.
Kat has to,
the
Yeah.
Kat
other
would heads,
the other
but
potential that
not.
I thought of, you said at one point, Daphne Duplay did an interview saying that we're gonna feel differently about Nicole coming up at one point, I believe.
Yeah.
What if the twins were Leslie's and Nicole stole Kat? Let's say Nicole had a miscarriage and Nicole stole Kat from Leslie.
Possibly, but it'd be weird that she wouldn't know who she was when she came to see her. My idea with that was, what if Ted wasn't the only one who had the affair?
Which I'm
Mm,
thinking that's the truth. That's true
Kat
too.
wasn't Ted's. And
Right.
I don't know though. I mean, just the way that because well, first off, just kudos to. I mean, this is the Emmy reel for Daphne. How do you say her last
Duplay.
name? Yeah, like my God, she was absolutely incredible in those scenes. As was Maurice, as but incredible scenes between the two of them just to start. But when we saw her, everything that she was saying to him, like, this is the most disgusting thing you could possibly do. This is the worst thing. I don't know. Part of me doesn't feel like she has it in her to, but you never know. It could happen. I don't know, the way that she was just so entirely just repulsed and disgusted by the entire situation. It makes me hope that that's not the case, but it could be. She could have, stepped out too. We aren't sure, but my God, if those scenes weren't, just her
They
confronting
were
him like that,
incredible.
holy cow. I mean, just yeah, send her an Emmy right now, because it just very and just the dialogue and just like the way that and it was like controlled. It wasn't like she was like over the top going. It was very just excellent scenes.
My my thing is, I almost felt a little disconnected when Nicole and Ted were in the living room and Nicole was talking, to Ted about what was going on. I, I'm not disparaging Daphne Duplay because she's fantastic, but I kind of felt like there were times where she was just reciting the lines and there was no emotion behind them. That's just what I saw. I didn't really get that emotion from her for the entire conversation. Maybe that's because they knew that this was the last episode for Maurice Johnson, and the new guy starts with the next episode. I don't know, but I felt a little bit disconnected during
Mm.
a couple of those scenes.
See, I don't know. I felt a little bit of a disconnect, kind of more on the side of Maurice a little bit because just maybe it's like maybe more or on Ted's side a little bit more. Just I don't know. He seemed to be just kind of like react. Like I don't know. I felt like I don't know. It was an interesting sort of situation. I thought that the actors played off each other really well, but um, I don't know. Part of me feels like I just felt a little bit like he was kind of like almost going through it and like saying what she needed. It's like he wasn't, but I saw his devastation kind of came through. I thought more at the very end when he was by himself in the montage, like when we
Mm-hmm.
finally see him just kind of, and then when Nicole breaks down with Kat. that got me. That like
That's it.
really, like I was tearing up at that point, like during that whole montage. Like that was just incredibly. I think the conversation though, like I think I just really appreciated the dialogue in that scene and the way that they just kind of. But I felt a little like he was just kind of like, okay, I'm just gonna go now. Okay, he was a little bit underplayed. I felt like I thought he'd be a little bit more just like trying to fight in that moment. But I guess, we couldn't overshadow her needing to speak out on her pain and everything like that too. So
So, what? Obviously, I said it that starting on Thursday is going to be Keith Robinson as the new Ted, um, and I'm anxious to see how it goes. I mean, it's been it's been pretty much all over the place, all over Twitter when they announced that Beyond the Gates was getting their first recast. Um, I'm not that familiar with Keith Robinson's work. Um, so I'm not sure if he'll have the same aura as Maurice Johnson. Obviously, everything we've seen recasts left to right on every show, but
yeah.
um,
No,
how
I'm
about you
curious
guys?
too how it's gonna, shake out and, the chemistry between the actors and how it's gonna, seeing the recast, kind of happen this almost abruptly. It was kind of funny because there were some lines and like, I don't even know you anymore. Who are you? And I mean, not that they, would have had, they obviously didn't have the new actor in place just then, but it would have been kind of funny if there was like, who are you? I don't even know you. And we look and it's cut to new face, new actor. Little meta there, but no. Yeah, no, I'm curious to see how he's going to come into the fold. And it's funny, I know that actor. I was watching the movie Dreamgirls not too long ago, and I forgot that he was in that. So, yeah, no, it should be. But it's just gonna, in the midst of like this big crazy story for Nicole and for Ted, it's just kind of, it's like, wow, okay, now we're gonna have a new face in the mix as well. So, pretty interesting timing for all of that.
How does this feel? So, being that this is the first shock to come out on Beyond the Gates, how does it compare to some of the other shocks in history from soap operas? You said, Angela or Kim, you said that it did come off had a very classic soap feel about it. The only thing, I mean, we've seen a ton of them. How does this
Mm.
compare? Their first soap shock of their run. I'm going to defer to Professor Angela for this one,
Yeah, I'm
who's
going
our
to as well.
historian.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, it was definitely really great. Um, I mean, definitely up there in, you know, soapy party reveals, but it didn't, the one thing it didn't have is it didn't have anything we didn't know yet.
Right.
That's true. That's
Is
true.
the thing. You know what I mean? The audience, I mean, it
Yeah.
was definitely a great payoff for what we've been watching. But like
Mhm.
the true explosive, oh my God, you know what I mean? Is that you
Yeah.
when you learn, those are, but I mean, it's right up there with Erica, with Reva in the fountain, with,
Yeah.
it definitely had that feel to it,
Mhm.
without a doubt.
Yeah. And it's like it's still, I mean, obviously it's early May. There's still time for some crazy big explosive secret to hit between now and the end of the month. And that could be just our big, earth-shattering moment where, something gets revealed that we just weren't expecting and we weren't anticipating. Because you're right. I mean, this has been building for a bit, and we knew that Leslie was going to crash the party, and we knew that it was going, the fallout was going to be. But I mean, just the way they handled all that fallout, though, and they handled like that big, I'm going to come in and like give my speech and give my talk. And okay, can we talk about Vernon and Anita's reactions? Because some of their line, stay silent, don't
Yep.
speak, like, just, or choose silence. I'm going to use that with people, I swear. Like, that was an epic. I mean, they just shut that down. I loved how they were just able to just kind of like and just the looks they were giving off and everything like that, and just totally, oh, that was just icing on the cake for me. Just watching them just kind of, just handling and like grappling with the situation, but also just like, and even when they pull Martin aside and they're like, what did they say, like cool water or running, something to kind of settle him down. Even it's just like, oh, see, this is why like I love like like the matriarch patriarch in that action, because they were
I loved
amazing in this.
I loved how Naomi had to remind Chelsea to turn off her live stream.
Right?
Like that was just that little Easter egg to be like, no more family drama online.
Yeah.
That was, yeah. No, that was. It's like, come on, honey, turn off you've already, you'd think you learned your lesson by now.
Right.
I don't know. I kind of wanted to see
know-
Danny have that little pistol when Leslie showed up at the house. Kind of wanted to see that come back into action a little bit.
Another thing that would be really interesting too, because we're all, we all think that, Leslie's insane or Leslie's lying about all that stuff that she says that Ted said to her about, the baby and yada, yada, yada. But what if Vernon or Anita or somebody knew and they somehow imitated Ted somehow to try to get her, I mean, what if there was something
It's
like
a possibility. It's definitely a possibility. I mean, for them to like kind of, because even like everything that she was saying about, Bill and his scheming and his kind of, being the, enforcer and all of this, but twisting that up into like, with Vernon somehow, with even like, there's plenty of room for that. They definitely created some space for that. So I'm curious to see if they're going to use it.
Right, because Bill held Vernon's feet to the fire about the things that he knew and had done for them.
Yeah.
And that definitely been one of them.
There are theories out there, and I was reading Donald Peoples, who was on the show a couple weeks ago with us. His tweets have been kind of interesting to look at, saying that Leslie and Anita share some type of past, being that Leslie was born in Chicago and Anita came from Chicago before, from the Chicago hood or whatever.
And Anita revealing too that she didn't have the best parting of ways with her former band members. Like the split wasn't exactly, it wasn't a great situation. So there's room for them to play there too. That could be interesting for sure.
There's a lot of stuff. I have to give it to Trisha Mann Grant though, because she did. I mean, outside of Maurice Johnson and Daphne DuPlay, Trisha Mann Grant stole this show. Just the way that she came out and just methodically came out with what she was saying, because all that was just done perfectly. Like her, it made me laugh because like, how about that Ted E? Just the way that she put those pauses in there. Phenomenal job all around. And
Chad even mentioned the little brownie man. Like that line, even the little brownie man, Mr. President, her coming in with all these little names and that was, no, she owned it. She was her just like, kind of holding court and explaining herself in the ball, to everyone, and just kind of looking everyone in the eye and just kind of going around. It was just like, okay, you're driving us crazy. And what you did to, it killed me. The scene when, her with Ava, just the entire, like it was, Ava was another just scene stealing, devastating, all, they played off each other so well. And then that final scene in the montage when she's locked out, I was just like, oh my God, like holy, and she's just standing there all kind of smug looking at her through the door. It was just, oh man, that was killer.
And to turn your back on your kid, and
which is what makes me think,
maybe
she ate her kid, because that
was the second time that she turned her back on Ava, because the first time was locking her in that kitchen closet, which I'm sorry, but my wife was watching it with me, and I'm like, you do realize that if there's no lock on the inside, that means that the door should just open from the inside. You need a key to get in from the outside. There's no way to. So I'm like, obviously you have to suspend your disbelief,
A little bit.
but it's she locked Eva in that closet because Eva was trying to stop her, from going public. Obviously, Leslie had her plan and she didn't want to, end it. But then Eva finally getting out and rushing to Ted and Nicole saying, "You guys have to get out of here now." Um, and then just how when Leslie comes in and you know Ted calls her Dana and Nicole calls her Sherry and Kat's like, "Well, she told me her name was Anna." And
How many different names does she
yeah,
have?
and
I think that was
just
Nicole's line,
the
which I just
making
loved.
of a soap villainous. Fantastic.
Hmm. Yeah, no, definitely. I saw someone online calling her Wiggy, just
Calling her
as like
what?
Wiggy because of all the different wigs and stuff that she's been wearing, and I was
Each
just like,
wig has a
yep,
different personality.
yeah. No, she was. I mean, just but yeah, it was really, her just kind of blocking or, just being so easily just kind of like shutting, Eva out just when Eva goes against her or when, her plan isn't, it's just that disconnect there. And for her to be saying to like everyone at, when she went back to the house, just like, she's my prize. I'm just going to go home and hug my baby and all of this, but then pulling that, that reveal at the very end, it was just like there's a disconnect there. I don't
Yeah.
know if that's actually, something's amiss because I just feel like you can't when your kid's outside screaming, mama, and you're not letting her in the door. It's like, oh God, okay,
It-
something's
yeah.
something's going on.
All right, let's move on. I want to thank the 93 people watching live right now on all the, on the smattering of different destinations that we have right now. Thank you so much for tuning in. Moving off of the main story, we kind of got to see a little bit more of Martin and his kind of like his personality now because he's remembering more of supposedly what happened. It looks like it was more of a fight rather than a car situation. It looks like it was a physical fight of some type, and um, we're kind of seeing he has some type of I don't know anger problems or anger issues, and just the way he comes home and he's throwing the books around, and he's obviously mad at his father, but Smitty comes in and he's like, let's kind of we're going through this together. Your family is my family, and I want to see I just want to see more of it. I want to see more of the emotion from Martin, because
Definitely.
obviously that's the next thing I think that's going to be coming out.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that tracks. And it just felt like a moment for Martin and Smitty where we've kind of see like their connection that not necessarily like through the kids. It's like you kind of felt in that moment like, okay, yeah, these guys are each other's, husbands, they're partners, they're, you felt more of that emotion. At least I, picked up on more of that emotional connection between them than
Hmm.
like, because up until now it feels like, we've seen them both, acting as like dad and pop, and we've seen them in that mode with the kids, but we haven't really seen them in like that sort of like I've got you, I'm here for you sort of. It's like we need, so it was nice being able to kind of see that side of them kind of for the first time because
Yes,
it's been
dancing
kind of
dagger. I do have a cat, and she was meowing in the background. That's why you hear kitty cat.
and
Um,
yeah, that was a really, kind of, and then them like being like we need to get the books cleaned up before the kids come home just so that, they don't feel any kind of sense of, we're going through this, but we're going to get through it as a family. I could really appreciate their relationship in those scenes was really kind of it was solidified a little bit more. I felt like,
it was.
and then he also had though I thought Martin, defending and going just the way that he was, obviously he was completely like thrown off guard, and then the little, the brownie comment and all of that, which I appreciate it now. It's like now the brownie and Leslie handing it to him at the diner makes a lot more sense.
Yes.
Like, that was a little moment that I picked up on. It's like you were trying to spark that memory for him. But his like I was like the way that he was just so protective and just so just like you need to get out of here. You don't know who you're messing with. I liked seeing him in that mode too. Just like, when he was just on like, defending the family and just being like, what are you doing here? You have no right. Like that was really powerful scenes for him. And it's like, yay, go Martin. And normally I'm not necessarily his biggest, but I appreciated him in that moment for sure.
Yeah. Um, all right. Um, I, it's like the Leslie thing dominated obviously the majority of the past couple of days because of the anniversary party and everything. Um, and because of Beyond the Gates not really being on, um, that's basically the entire thing. However, we did see Bill and Haley kind of give a little bit of commentary before the fiasco started, and Bill and Haley were kind of just sitting there, and Bill's kind of relaying to something to Haley because Haley's like, I am so jealous of Ted and Nicole because they're so lovey dovey, and Bill points out, well, Ted's not as innocent as you think. He and I have more in common than you know, which
Yeah.
was all but telling. That comment right there, and I liked the little bit of input from Bill and Haley because obviously Bill is being skewered because of his decision to cheat on multiple times, well, cheat on Danny with Haley and then divorce and marry and everything. Um, but for him to come out and say Ted and I are not so different, um, but
Yeah, it
yeah,
did offer up that perspective. But I have to say, I was kind of annoyed with Haley in that scene. She was acting a little too gleeful, in my opinion, for like, like, oh yeah, hey, they're not as it's like, but honey, glass houses and all that. Like, I don't know. She kind of rubbed me the wrong way in that scene. I was just kind of like, you know what, just, no, no. I just, I don't know. I was kind of, I,
She forgets that they're the bad guy.
right,
right? Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. In that scene, she just seemed a little too smug for me. A little too just kind of like, oh, well, hey, yeah, it's just like, just no. Like, you can appreciate now, you didn't have the information, now you have it, but, your situation, like, look at what you're saying, and look at what you've done.
yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Um, all right, so I kind of like how who's the um, who's the other girl that that's with the friends, Leslie and the other girl that works for Nicole. I can't remember her
Mona.
name. Mona.
Isn't it Mona?
I like
Yeah.
how Mona was like, um, oh, I didn't even realize she didn't say
Hmm.
anything. She was just caught off guard um, about the whole thing
Yeah,
um,
she had kind
because
of a powerful, just even like she was just kind of like giving her like a death glare to like the whole scene and just kind of walked out of the scene. She was very good in that moment because she's been betrayed too. It's like she thought this woman was she was
Right.
very good in that scene. She's kind of
the
we all
conversation between her and Kat was
yes,
fantastic because Kat was just
definitely.
trying. How long have you known her? And and where did you meet her? And because that
Mhm.
was one of my biggest questions was how was she integrated with this group of friends, but
Mhm.
then nobody knows about her daughter and nobody knows about her background. So now that definitely answered that.
Yep. And speaking of just friends on the periphery and background and things like that, we also had it with Vanessa finding out about the whole situation while she's sitting in her hospital bed recovering from the food poisoning. And I kind of love how with that she just immediately is like, also she looked beautiful. I don't know if it was some. It's funny because it's like okay, I know that your character's supposed to be having like food poisoning or something right now, but the like minimal makeup on her, she still looked gorgeous. I was just like, oh my god, okay, and like in her little like tracksuit or everything. I just, yeah, I noticed that, but no, she just it was, she was just immediately like, okay, there's some stuff going on. Okay, no, I got to get out. I got to, but and also we had it where Jacob kind of, well, the whole stepping out on, it's like, and it made me kind of wonder too, how
You mean
aware
Doug?
is, yeah, Doug, sorry. Yeah, no, I'm mixing up my names here. Um, but you got to wonder, it's like, okay, he must be aware that she's kind of,
Oh yeah,
it's so, but like the way he kind of, had to remind her of like, hey, by the way, yeah, you can be mad about this whole situation, but it was just kind of casually sliding that in there, but it's just like, I appreciated that scene because it's like, yeah, Vanessa, you can be upset, but honey, also look at your entire situation here. Like,
These are not stones you
yeah,
should be
yeah.
yeah,
casting.
yeah. I can appreciate her wanting to be there for her bestie and all of this, but also just
Do
like
you do
keep
you
it in
think that
perspective.
Vanessa really had food poisoning, or do you think she might be pregnant, late stage pregnancy?
Hmm, could be a possibility.
She better hope.
What was that?
She better hope not, because the options are probably pretty much endless with her.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's very
yeah.
true.
No, that
Um,
could be an interesting twist.
Hmm.
yeah, it could definitely be. Um,
Oh, and Chad saying that I felt we just dropped into the scene of Vanessa at the hospital. We were it was kind of just a little, it was a little out of the blue, you know, like, but I
yeah,
appreciated that it was still like a good add into the, but it was a little bit just kind of out of left field. Like, you go from the party to like, oh, okay, you're not there because of the food poisoning, whatever, but, actually showing it. I was kind of surprised that they ended up going that route, but.
yeah. No, exactly. And I'm liking how more this week. Obviously, we had the big reveal for Leslie, but I like how this week kind of set. We learned a little bit more about each of the different characters. Um, and one thing I'm going to do first of all is I have to bring it up. Okay, we saw that Derek and Ashley decided to move in together, and this is. I'm sorry, Angela, you're covered by the overlay. But this is going to be the what the fudge moment of the week, um, where
It's a
Derek actually named his chair.
I
That
mean,
was and then the moose head that's outside the door, and that whole situation was just madness to me
they were
because
trying to be kind of cute and quirky, but it came off as a little, I don't know, a little shoehorned in there. It's like, oh yeah, I'm cute. Look at, I named my chair. He's trying to be just like kind of a dork. They're trying to keep them like, in cute dork mode, and I don't know. It's like they're trying with it.
and
I give them credit, but I'm not really feeling it. Like, I don't know. I've seen like couples act like, in like cute, dorky, comedic relief sort of. I'm not really. It's not quite there yet, but I could tell what they were going for in that scene.
I enjoyed. I I think I liked how when the woman comes in, Ashley's mother, and
Mm.
she brings in the moose head, and Ashley goes, "Did you name him too?" Oh, who would name a moose head? But yeah,
I
you'll
don't.
name a chair anyways. That
Yeah.
was our what the fudge moment of the week, folks. And for those of you who are in the New Haven, Connecticut area and surrounding towns, you can order what the fudge homemade confections because it's made in a cottage kitchen, which means that she can't ship, but it is you're able to get it. Whatthefudgect.com, which the website is currently under construction, but you can always go to facebook.com/whatthefudgect. Angela got to try them this weekend and to rave reviews, correct?
so amazing. And as I said last night, as I said to Vinny the other day, after he gave it to me, it was so fortuitous that the boys on 84 were spending the night, so I didn't eat it all myself. Because that is what would have happened. 20 pieces of fudge, and that would have not have been good.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely check that out. Again, that is whatthefudgect.com or facebook.com/whatthefudgect, and check it out because it's good. As soon as she's able to ship, we'll be able to get that out to you. But either way, yeah, it's I agree. I kind of agree
for
with
anybody who missed it.
Oh, go on.
I was going to say, for anybody who missed it, Vinny graduated this weekend.
Yes, I did.
Graduated from
Big congratulations, Vinny.
Thank you. And I did promise last night when we were on, I did promise to play the video that Angela took. So I'm going to go ahead and share that now.
Vincent Apicella Jr.
Woo!
Campbell Adams.
Vinny Suds!
And L.T. Jackson.
So yeah, that was such a great video.
That was
such
Very cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I
Can't take me
appreciate.
anywhere.
I did appreciate Angela coming. I did appreciate taking the video and the yelling afterwards. Such a great time, and I'm glad. But the work never ends. And yes, thank you so much. I graduated with an MBA from SNHU, so up in Manchester, New Hampshire. And folks, believe me, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Anyways, after my little, there you go. Chad says that was great. The enthusiasm is there. But I do agree with Chad here. I'm indifferent to Derek and Ashley together. It feels kind of out of place. I kind of feel like, and I don't want to say this the wrong way, I feel like they're the inverse on every other soap where they're the token white people, the token white couple of Beyond the Gates, where I know that Ashley has the potential to go forward, especially with everything with Andre. But I don't get Derek. Like, he's like a black hole of charisma.
It's like reverse. It's like anti-chemistry or negative chemistry, a little bit. Just kind of like it doesn't really. I don't know. I mean, sometimes like they have like cute little exchanges, things like that. I feel like though it would be helpful if like there was a connection with, link them in somehow beyond Ashley at the, as a nurse at the hospital. Have it be like, the Joey Armstrong is like her uncle or something, or have it where like, Derek is like a gambler, or, just something to kind of twine them in a little bit more to maybe that world might make us a little bit more invested. Cause I just feel like there's just such a disconnect. It's like, it's only through like, that little kind of friend group that, they kind of exist with the others. And it just doesn't, we don't really have enough scenes of them to like really buy into like that whole, it's just, I feel like they need to be twined in a little bit more to like, the other, on canvas. Otherwise it falls flat.
Angela, you were about to say something?
Well, what's funny, and I had seen this theory from the get-go, as soon as, the character was kind of described or whatever. And I'd seen that theory from the get-go, but now I'm seeing it more on screen. So Michelle Valjean, creator, Queen Supreme over all of this. Does everybody know who her favorite soap character that she ever wrote was?
No.
Elizabeth. GH.
Really?
Liz. She absolutely loves Becky Hurst. Loves her. Loves. Liz is her bomb. And I think Ashley is her Liz. on this show. I kind of see the similarities. I really do. It's down to making her a nurse.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
I could see that. Well, Derek sure as hell ain't lucky. So
no, well, I mean, honestly, he might be because Lucky wasn't Michelle Valjean's desired ship for Liz. So.
Oh, really?
Jason was.
Wow. So she was part of that liaison deal. Wow. Okay.
She liked Liz and Lucky when they were younger, but liked Jason for more of an adult relationship for her. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I definitely see the Liz correlations in Ashley. So
I could see that too. All right. Hey, Anya has joined us. What the hell?
Anya.
What's wrong with her?
I love you, Anya. I love you, wifey. We are solid Liz haters. Solid haters.
So I don't know. Like I said, I don't really have a connection with Derek. I mean, Derek is just a goofy guy.
Yeah, he's like a golden retriever. I don't know. Part of me feels like if he was switched out with a dog, we'd be content with that too.
Yeah,
I mean, heck, even with the cat that he rescued, I don't know. She could have just taken home the cat and moved in with the cat, and that could have been, I'm not trying to, it's nothing against. It's just
no, cats are not.
I don't know. I just feel like, there just needs to be, I don't know. I almost wish that they'd make him, especially because it's weird with Andre. I mean, there was his scenes with Danny. Holy cow. I mean, that chemistry is off the charts. And even when they were kind of they were just kind of acting like all flirty. There was one scene he's taking photos and stuff of her. It's just, they have such good chemistry. And I kind of feel like it's kind of overshadowed what they were trying to put together with him and with Ashley. I mean, granted, we haven't seen them exchanging a lot of scenes in a while. But I just, Andre and Danny just kind of are where it's at for me. So it's I kind of don't want Ashley back in that orbit, but I don't really know where else to. I don't know. It's tricky because.
Yeah, I'm wondering. I mean, there's still a chance because if they do the Andre and Ashley thing, they could give Derek could be his villain origin story.
Yeah, that's the thing. That would be at least give him a little bit of depth or something, or he because I know they could do sort of his need to kind of be the hero and stuff like that, him trying to prove himself and getting himself hurt. There's room there if they to put that, but it's we haven't even really seen Ashley and Andre interacting too much lately, unless so it's kind of tricky. They're all just kind of. I think Ashley
is just fighting her feelings for Andre, because she put up the boundaries after he tried to kiss her. But yet she's still thinking about him, and they're kind of backing off a little bit. Honestly, I wouldn't mind Derek. Derek needs a little bit of chocolate in his life, and I say that with all due respect. But I could probably see Derek. Derek should be with Shanice. I think that would take him out of the show.
Heck, he even had. I thought he was very. He had a brief scene with Haley too, where I kind of saw. Just a little bit more, heck, chem test the two of them, once, Bill, because, eventually it's going to, catch up to Haley that Bill is, so, kind of twining, because it looked like there was a history kind of, I just feel like they just need to kind of branch them out and just kind of have them just kind of, because I don't know, the two of them together, it's just, they're trying to go for the cute, they're trying to go for the dorky, and it kind of works, but it's still a little, it falls a little flat in comparison to scenes that they've had with others. So I kind of want to see them branch out a little bit more if they're going to stick around.
Yeah, I think so too. I want to thank the 118 people currently watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. Go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so that anytime something comes on our network, whether it's soap opera or wrestling related, or any of the networks that you're watching here, you'll get notified. and go ahead and definitely react to the show. Whether if you're watching on Facebook, hit that like or that love. Um, if you're watching on Twitter, definitely give it like it. If you're on YouTube, send a comment, react to the comments. It helps with the algorithm either way, and definitely subscribe to the network because it definitely helps us get the algorithm up, and it helps to bring more viewers here so that we can bring you more and eventually, get monetized when we hit 500 subscribers. So definitely share and share alike. All right, I think we've kind of hit everything. It was a short week. So, I mean, there
one
were only
quick
yeah,
Amazing Grace in the end montage.
yes.
Holy cow, Tamara Tooney and her voice. My goodness. I mean, that was just. And they went through all. I mean, I haven't heard all. I was raised Catholic. I haven't heard all 5 verses of Amazing Grace at church or at any sort of but I was like, she blew me away with her voice. That was just incredible. I thought that was just really an interesting way to close out the episode for sure, with that montage and with her serenading it and singing it.
I think it was great bringing the entire family together and just showing all the outfall. And it's like I kind of saw it online, and of course there's so much toxicity online. I really hate bringing it up, but it was like, oh well, after what happened, how could they just sit around the piano singing, especially a hymn or whatever? It's like that kind of stuff brings comfort, especially in a culture that is derived around family and spirituality, whether you want to get into the Christian, Baptist, Catholic, whatever you want. The idea of being around the family, singing a hymnal, Tamara Tooney was fantastic. And I was watching with my wife, and I'm like, I didn't realize she could sing. What a set of pipes on her.
Right? I mean, I was just, no. And I just thought, like they did with the visuals when they showed, I mean, I straight up was getting choked up seeing, especially it was Nicole and Kat, and Kat just holding her and Nicole just breaking down. I mean, I was in tears at that point almost. Like it was and I'm not an easy crier. So but just having that music kind of set to, that whole, I just thought it worked very well. And I just was very, very impressed by her singing voice. So I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah.
And
Angela,
I think last time I heard it, Chad was a funeral as well, actually. Yeah.
Angela, what was your favorite part of this week?
Agreed.
What was that?
Kind of losing the audio and connections a little.
Anyways, this week it was short. We're got another short week again this week.
Yeah, when do we come back? Is it tomorrow? So tomorrow
Thursday.
There's no new episode. We come back Thursday.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Back on going
Thursday.
Through withdrawal, man. It hurts having these preemptions. I'm not used to that. I'm used to Peacock. I'm used to it just being there. So having to just, I don't know. It's like, come on, I want to watch my story.
Well, folks, this
is why I want them all to go to stream, because I don't.
Yeah, agreed.
Sorry, I'm like lagging behind. Go ahead.
No worries at all. But either way, we've covered everything. I think everything is going very well for their first week of sweeps. Again, folks, stay tuned. Friday night, May 30th, 8 p.m. will be our Sudsy nominee special. And then Friday, August 1st will be our Sudsy Awards premium live event, 8 p.m. live this year. But keep everything keep everything in mind and keep those dates open. And Angela, where can everybody find you?
PattyPrado.com and Parade.com and Brooklyn74 at Twitter and Facebook. Angela Ryan Duncan at Facebook, actually. Brooklyn74 at Twitter and I believe Instagram. I'm just everywhere.
And Blue Sky.
And Blue Sky.
And Kim, where can everybody find you?
So I'm Misfit8690 on Twitter, and then a Little Misfit52 on YouTube. So feel free to chat me up or hit me up on either of those platforms.
All right, and I'm at Vinny Suds on Twitter, Vinny Suds on Facebook, at Suds Media on Twitter as well, Suds and Squared Circle, any kind of that's on Instagram, and suds-media.com on Blue Sky. And you can find everything on suds-media.com as well. Buy our merch. Suds-media.com/merch brings you to our Threadless page, which has all of our current logos, and whatever you buy helps us out. If you're a WWE fan, go over to suds-media.com/wrestling merch. It does have our affiliate link in that URL, and whatever you buy from WWE Shop using that URL gives us a commission, which goes towards the show. And also check out our other sponsors, like I said, whatthefudct.com or facebook.com/whatthefudct if you are in the New Haven, Connecticut area. Also, coaching by Lori if you're having some problems in your relationship, in the bedroom, in your marriage, and need someone to help you through it. She is a certified sex therapist, so go ahead at coachingbylori.com. So definitely visit our sponsors. So we are out of time. We'll be back next Monday at 10 p.m. Regular time for GateCrashers, and Monday at 8 p.m. for Suds News. So for Kim and Angela, I'm Vinny. We will see you next week as we crash through the gates of Fairmont Crest. Have a great week, everybody.
Take care.